us. Bob, as promised, first question.
Okay. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good.
Go ahead and write this down. It's a seven-parter. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Holman's obviously a guy you guys have faced last year, the last couple of years, I guess. But last year, he didn't pitch bad. I think I looked up 5 1/3 and had a lot of strikeouts. We gave up some runs. Kind of, what do you remember about that game? And if you've gotten to watch much of him video or whatever this year, does he look different, or why are his stats so much better so far?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about the game. I think it was game 2 of that series, and he pitched pretty good against us, and we finally, I don't know, broke loose a little bit, but really kind of focusing on this year. From what I've seen and what I've watched, he's just better, and he's throwing the ball over the plate, and he's got really, really good stuff, good secondary stuff. I think his batting average against him is amazing. So he's doing everything you're supposed to do as a number one. ERA is under 1, and he just isn't giving up much. So, I don't know if they're going to throw him tomorrow or Friday or Saturday, but when we do face him, it's going to be a handful.
And then Hagan obviously has been so sharp since that very first game. What are you expecting from him? And I assume, look, I'll ask Andrew's question, keeping the same rotation.
Yeah, well, first on Hagan, I guess just what we expect is him to go out and compete like he always does, and hopefully, get us into the game and late into the game, because that's what he's been doing. He's been throwing a lot of strikes. He competes hard, and he's given us an opportunity. We didn't give him much run support last weekend, but our bullpen with, a couple guys, or actually one guy, came out and finished it up for us, and McIntyre just was lights out, but he gave us a chance. And, as far as the rotation, we're going to change it up just a little bit. We're going to go Smith, Molina, and Tigert in that order. Just want to give Brady another day to get right. So that's kind of where we're going to do it.
That's why it's always good to ask about the rotation. I'll turn it back over to Oliver. I might have a couple later. Thanks.
Okay. Ellis.
Yeah, Coach, LSU is probably not quite on the same level they were last year, but still a very talented team, and they're coming off of 2 close series losses. Just how big of a challenge is this to face a team that's going to have a lot of motivation coming in this weekend?
Well, they were awfully good last year, and they're awfully good this year. And, it's still early in the season, even though, most teams have played around 25 games. There's still 60% of the games left, and teams are just starting to heat up and figure it out and get those pitching rotations right, or how they want to handle things. And I think they're really talented. You look at talent on that team, it's as good as anybody in the country. And they know that, we know that, and everybody that plays them knows that. It's, really, obviously our focus is to just do what we can do and do it well, and, control what we can control, but they're awfully good.
And looking at their bullpen, it hasn't been exactly lights out, but a lot of their best arms are left-handed, like Lower, Herring, and Ackenhausen and all that. So just how big of a challenge is that for your lineup, which has a lot of really good left-handed bats, and how big is this maybe for some of your right-handed bats on the bench?
Well, it's always good to have some matchups where we could make some changes, and right or left, depending on what they bring in. And sometimes if you look at the splits, sometimes lefties hit their lefties better, or vice versa. You just have to kind of see what you see as a coach, and now you guys are swinging at them, and then also, maybe go back to and kind of go with what maybe statistics have shown us throughout the season so far on what the best matchup it is. And a lot of times just comes down to if your hitter's feeling good and he's confident and hot, let him go, whether it's left on left, right on right, out of the pen. But yeah, they've got a lot of talent in that bullpen, really good arms, and they can mix and match pretty good with anybody with the number of guys they got. So it's always a big challenge.
Hutch.
Dave, you mentioned the switch in Molina and Tiger. You said to give Tiger another day to get right. Is that a health deal or is it a mechanical thing or just kind of what's going on there?
Just let him rest a little bit. Let him get everything straightened up and feel really good. Nothing wrong with him.
I know whenever we talked to Matt Hobbs after the game that you missed, he seemed pretty confident there was just a simple mechanical thing that's kind of led to some of those walks by Brady. Just how confident are you that he'll get that figured out?
Oh, I feel great about Brady. His stuff's good. Competes hard. I think that, he's had a little bit of command issues with his fastball. He gets that straightened out, he'll be good to go. So I have all the confidence in the world in him.
This may be somewhat of a dumb question, but like you mentioned how Fouch has kind of added that new pitch and how it's got some sync to it. Just how do you go about adding a pitch like that? Like, was it something y'all specifically said, hey, this is what we want to do, or is there something y'all saw like on the metrics, or just kind of how did that come about?
All of the above. You just needed something that was moving a little bit more. He's got a great arm, throw strikes, just need something that, that's a little harder to square up because, kids can time up 98 miles an hour if you don't have something else to go with it. So if you can throw something 96, 97, 98, and then throw something 94, 95, it's a little bit different. Plus, if it's sinking or running more, you can experiment with grips, and that's probably the number one thing you do is experiment with the grip, see if you can get it to do some different things. And it's not unusual for pitchers of any age to be doing that, and just to try to find one more thing is going to help them. And I think that's kind of the case here.
Jackson.
Yeah, Dave, Vahiva, he just seems so much more settled, even just when we got to talk to him yesterday. And I know you've mentioned specifically not chasing pitches, getting in better counts, but how much has, confidence made a difference for him and his, recent play?
Well, first off, hitting's really hard. It's hard to hit that ball. It's coming in hard, moving, spinning, whatever. So you have to be confident. And, he shows really good bat to ball skills and practice games, scrimmages. Like I said, he was tearing it up when the season started against our pitching, and our pitching obviously is pretty good. And then when the season started, I think he tried to do too much, and then he tried to catch up, and he finally just said, heck with it. I'm going to take what they give me. They want to walk me, they can walk me. If they want to come in, they can come in. But he's done a lot better job lately of, swinging at better pitches. You're going to go out of the zone every now and then because you just do. You get for a little bit, or maybe you're guessing for something, you get it. It's just a little more away than you thought it was when it left their hand. But I feel like that he's a very confident kid, and it's really good to get him rolling a little bit.
And you talked about last week the letting your guys know and just how desperate Auburn was going to be coming off the sweep. Do you have to have the same conversation with LSU losing the first two series, or is there maybe enough juice in the locker room that doesn't need to be even said right now?
Yeah, and I only said that because we were going on the road, and it was true because they needed to win a series and climb back in because just because they do. It's when you lose a couple of series, man, you start scrambling a little bit and you got to figure out a way to win. And fortunately, we went down there and won a couple one-run games. And now I don't have to say anything. LSU coming in, I mean, they have a great talent, great team. They know how to win. They know us, we know them. It's I don't really have to say a whole lot. Really, our focus today and our workout, and it won't be long. We'll just be on a lot of little things and getting really more than anything, just try to be as strong as we can physically and mentally when we start playing tomorrow.
And last thing, real quick, I know you might not reveal the specifics, but does shifting Tigert and Molina change anything from how you approach the bullpen arms and who you summon later in games?
I don't think it will the first game for sure. Just then after that, we have to see what we see. But I don't feel like it really makes any difference on who we pitch out of the pen tomorrow or probably even Friday. It's they're all three of our starters are are experienced older kids that don't get too riled up or too rattled so far anyway. And, I just feel like that they're all going to give us a good start. If one of them doesn't go good, then yeah, that could make a difference if it's early in the series compared to late in the series on who we bring in.
Bob, back to you.
Yeah, Dave, you look at those LSU stats, you see a couple familiar names up at the top of their batting order, Travinsky and White. Well, what would you say about those guys?
Well, they both have tremendous power. They do a great job of driving in runs. You want 27 and one's got 23 RBIs, and it's veterans, it's strength, it's opposite field power, pull power. They can get you hit when they need to. 2-strike hitters, they'll fight you. I mean, it's just two really tough bats in the middle of that lineup.
And then the weather's supposed to be pretty nice. I mean, you'd probably get great crowds if it was bad weather, but I think, good weather helps. Just what are you anticipating from the atmosphere and the fans? And, it's always a big deal when LSU comes to town, obviously.
Just a big time atmosphere. I mean, we've been drawing some great crowds over the years, and I don't see anything any different. The weather's going to be fine, and you got two teams ranked in the top 10, defending national champion coming in. So I imagine that ticket's going to be hard to get.
And you guys are ranked number 1, so you got defending champs versus the number 1 team.
We are.
I know. You never talk about it.
Yeah, really talk about it. It's just it's great, but at the same time, it's just a number, and a lot of season left. Things are going to move around, and but it's fun for probably everybody involved.
Yeah. Hey, this kind of offbeat question. Everybody's obviously made a big deal about you being a grandfather, and that's great. And Karen, she's a grandmother, and I know she's kind of been the rock of your family all these years. Just wondering how she's doing, and if you want to say something about her.
Yeah, she's done an incredible job. Being a coach's wife, obviously. I mean, they're kind of in the background, but they're doing everything. From making sure the kids get to school early, or get where they're supposed to be, to being at the games, and then help when planning weddings. I mean, you could go on. And then for me personally, just takes a lot off my shoulders, especially in the spring, where I can just put everything into this job and not have to worry about things getting done. She's just super organized. And then with the grandbabies coming, and then all of a sudden you're going from one to having triplets. I think she kicked it into overdrive, just being with my daughter and helping, and continuing right now, through this time when you have, babies that are in the NICU and they're going to be there a while. So there's a lot going on right now, but I wouldn't be sitting here in this job without her. I can guarantee you that.
I'm good. Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Ellis, Hutch, any final words?
Coach, are you a huge fan of Gorilla Ball?
I'm good with it. I tell them they can do whatever they want, just as long as they stay in the dugout. It's just it's a team thing, and it's not all about hitting home runs, but that's when they celebrate. It's about just the team and camaraderie and having some fun more than anything, showing a little personality. I'm all good with it. And fortunate enough to hit a home run. Anything that we do to celebrate about our team, we're not pointing at the other team or trying to stir things up. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun in our dugout, and it's been kind of fun, actually.
Have you put the mask on yet?
No. Not when anybody could see me.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Okay. See you guys.